Hey everybody, Tony D and little Joan here with your Piney podcast, a special Piney podcast. It's really not a lot of news, but I do have to tell you one very important thing. So smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. We're currently pushing to get the Pineys listed at the top 10 category for horror comedy. I currently, the highest peak was 226, which was pretty high for me because recent purchases have gone up. So just so you know, thank you if you've purchased. If I get in the top 200 to 100, I mean, even that would be amazing too. But let's get into it. Real quick news stories. BMW becomes the official automotive partner of New Jersey Devils and New York Islanders. Because, you know, when I think of buying a car, I think, well, what does my hockey team drive first? Joe Biden, the train guy, pitches road infrastructure upgrades on New Jersey visit. He'll dump money into Murphy because he's a blue state, right? The nor'easter hit last night, and here's a map of where it hit. You can see it's mostly central Jersey. We got a lot of rain down here. I'm down more in this area, kind of inland, so we were mostly fine. It was just really bad rainstorms, if that. It wasn't even that bad. But apparently some parts of the state got hit pretty hard. But the biggest news story is this. Okay, if you haven't heard, Project Veritas is going after Murphy. And they've got people on the inside of his campaign, and they've got very damaging video. This is one of his... This is Wendy Martinez, senior advisor for Phil Murphy. Phil Murphy is going to do it, vaccine mandates, but he couldn't do it before the elections, basically. It's exactly what I've been saying. The moment Phil Murphy gets elected is the moment you're going to see vaccine mandates. And today, Michael Tracy on Twitter reported that he referred to it as an obscure department in the New Jersey government created a mandate for the state capital. Now you can't enter the state capital apparently unless you've been vaccinated or approved. You could probably get in if you have a recent test that clears you. So if you need any more proof that Phil Murphy is going to mandate these vaccines, this is it. I mean, if you don't believe it now, I mean, you're probably just too partisan. And you probably, if you're that partisan, you probably believe that they're a good thing. They're a terrible thing. I'll explain again that the thing we're talking about, which I can't say too much on YouTube, is endemic. I mean, this has been said by the CDC, the WHO, every person who even acknowledges a little bit of science. The virus is endemic. You cannot eliminate it. It will be back year after year after year after year. I also can't say much more about the vaccines. You want to hear my thoughts on the vaccine, go to Bitchute and Rumble. They're very clear there. But the vaccines will not stop, or the mandates will not stop at just vaccines. They won't. I mean, the mandates to close down businesses were mandates, right? And that is causing all sorts of problems with those businesses. There are lawsuits still pending. They may take years to go through the courts, but they're going to win. And we will pay the money. It will come out of New Jersey state coffers. That's our tax dollars going to people who basically said, this is illegal. You can't shut down my business. And the state going, oh, we could do it. Oh, and then they shut it down. Phil Murphy goes on to continue his political career or goes back to Goldman Sachs to make millions of dollars, never pays a dime, but we pay for his mistakes. We pay for people fighting our own oppression, right? We don't pay for the lawyers. We have to pay for the state to defend it in court because we elected this idiot who thinks he can oppress us. And then when we have the nerve to say, we don't want that, he says, well, we're not really doing that. Oh, don't say anything until the election's over. That's what he's doing in this video. Watch Project Veritas. And this is just the first video. Okay, this is just the first video, and already the Murphy team came out with a hyperbolic letter saying, "Oh, we've been attacked by right-wing extremist James O'Keefe, and his team harassed people in a parking lot." And yeah, that's a good sign that they're over the target if they're that hyperbolic about this. If they're already screeching, "No, no, no, they're right-wing nut job. Don't listen to them." Phil Murphy does not deserve to be a dog catcher, much less the governor of New Jersey. Okay? And I'll tell you right now, I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian. And I'm not all that excited about Jack Citarelli. But I'm pulling the lever for him. Because he's the only one with a shot at beating Murphy in this state. We have to get rid of Murphy. We absolutely have to. It's imperative. If you've already voted for Murphy, you've basically voted for Biden. You've basically voted to oppress yourself. And when your taxes go up and you can't work and your business shuts down, you'll have no one to blame but yourselves, morons. And half the state leaves for West Virginia or Florida. Where do you think people live? Do you think rich people put up with this stuff? I know rich people. They're already talking about making the move. They're talking about, I got to get out of the state. I can't pay these taxes. They got all the money in the world. They can pay taxes. But they have all the money in the world to move to another state and save themselves a few $100,000. Duh. So what do you think happens? What do you think happens? The money moves out of state. You can move right across the river to Philadelphia. You can move right across the, I guess that's river, bay, whatever you want to call it, to Delaware. Delaware. That's Joe Biden's state. You know what the taxes are like there? Every single major corporation has a headquarters there because the state taxes are non-existent in Delaware. They have a P.O. box just to take advantage of the tax breaks in Delaware. And Joe Biden lives there. He loves it. He loves the low taxes. Oh, but in New Jersey, tax. And what are you getting out of it? You get schools full of critical race theory, communist teachers in their unions telling you how to live. You get cops who, for my money, aren't worth much, and they'll be by to shut down your business. You have to be, if you have a business of more than 100 people, this mandate is going to mean you have to fire anybody who's not vaxxed or test them every day, like you're going to be the vaccine police, on top of all the other onerous, ridiculous permits and regulations they have. You know, in New Jersey, we have now wineries and breweries to beat the band, and other liquor places, because Christie, as much as I don't like Christie, he opened it up. He almost closed it down, but he opened it up. You can't serve food, but you can serve liquor. And now there's a renaissance of all these places all over New Jersey, all these little towns. They've got all these little IPAs and breweries and wineries and places where you can drink, and that's created jobs and money. That's what you do when you deregulate things. The Democrats do the opposite. They are salivating to go after those people. Oh, you own a brewery, a testing place. Well, we have a new rule now because we heard someone choked on a beer once. Now you're going to have to pay us $200 to make sure your glasses are big enough or clean enough or whatever. And it won't do anything. It won't do anything. I tell the story how in New York, one of the most regulated states in the United States, my ex and my ex-father-in-law, we went out to a restaurant. They had the pea soup at a restaurant that had been open for, 30 years. Wasn't heated correctly. They both got violently ill over New Year's. Violently ill. Yeah, we complained. We wrote an angry review on Yelp or whatever. Who cares? All those regulations, what good did it do? Yeah, maybe they'll go get fined. Still got sick. The point is, the fines are supposed to keep people from getting sick. They don't work. They don't work. What works is reputation. Okay? Enough people, and Also, too, if you don't have regulations and you know they're not regulated, you're going to be much more wary when you go into a place. All right? You're going to look it over and go, I don't know about this soup. See, people with the regulations on think, oh, I'm safe. Oh, there's regulation. Oh, they can't serve me soup that's too cold, that's been sitting around for hours. They're not allowed. But they do it anyway, sometimes. Not necessarily on purpose, but see, if there's no regulations, well, they might try to do that, and then they go out of business because they do it too often. If they make that their policy. But most places don't do that. 99% of restaurants don't want to make you sick. They don't need the reputation. What government should do is open up things so you could know about all the incidents, right? You could report all the incidents, and government would have this big website and say, oh yeah, we got all these reports. Here's all the restaurants' records of every time they served undercooked food or soup and people got sick. And then you could look at it and say, oh my God, there's like 500 complaints here. I'm not eating at that restaurant. But no, they're more interested in getting a little money. Why? Because money is power. They could do more programs. They could do more this and that. It's all about money. And then the next thing you know, they're used to getting that money. And then they need it. They become dependent upon it. And it's a vicious cycle. They hire more people. They need more money. They add more laws. They need more people. They need more money. They add more laws. They need more people. They need more money. And along the way, of course, someone somewhere is getting a cut. Somebody's relative has a contract where they provide the clipboards for the idiots who come in and check the soup temperature. This is how corrupt government works. It gets bigger and bigger, and the bigger it gets, the more corrupt it gets. Phil Murphy wants that, whether you think he's an honest guy or not, he wants more and more government. He thinks that solves the problem. But he lives in an ivory tower. He has 3 mansions. He's a millionaire, a Goldman Sachs millionaire. He's not connected to the real people. He doesn't know what it's like to run a restaurant or try to get by. He doesn't understand that. And if he ever did, that's way in the rear view for him. His biggest problem is, well, where do I move my stock? How do I offshore my millions to keep it safe? You think he gives a rat's ass about your small business when you're struggling? No, he shut down those businesses. All the box stores got to open during the pandemic. Why shut down a greeting card store in the middle of nowhere, South Jersey? Oh, there's too many people in it. It might be a super spreader. How? Those stores, you're lucky to have 2 customers in the store at the same time at any time. Maybe at Christmas, you might get 3 or 4 customers in the store at once. So what? They have masks. So what? We have vaccines. It's totally unnecessary. But Phil Murphy wants that power. He'll never give it up until you force him out of office, until you elect someone else. And it sends a message to these people, you better not F with us. I'm not asking you to join up with the Republicans because they're some sort of panacea. In fact, the moment Citarelli's elected, we have to pressure him to do all the stuff we want him to do, or else he probably just sit around and not do it. But you got to get rid of Murphy. It'll be nothing but horror if he's reelected. Because first off, he'll want to get back at everybody who tried to oust him, number one. And number 2, he has no reason to listen to anybody at that point. He's been reelected. He can't be elected again. I think he can only do 2 terms in New Jersey. And he'll just go on and on, doing whatever the F he wants. Because he'll be looking to the next jump. Maybe I'll run for president. Maybe I'll run for senator. So he'll be looking at the National Party. He'll be looking at the Democrats. He'll want to leave New Jersey like, oh, look at all these great programs I passed. For the future, which he won't be around for. Right? He'll be gone by the time his programs take hold and start destroying New Jersey that we can't pay for. He'll be long gone. And look at what these blue state governors do. These blue staters are trying to push UBI, mandates for everybody. It won't stop. You have to get rid of him. Get rid of Phil Murphy and watch Project Veritas. Watch these videos if you don't believe me. That's it, Pineys. Me and Little Joan, we got stuff to do. Check us out on Bitchute and Rumble. Check out my books. And we'll see you in the next one.